Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Cell Med, and today we're going to go ahead and talk about how to get into medical school without taking the MCAT. Yes, you heard me correctly. Getting into medical school with no MCAT. And no, I'm not lying.
You calling me a liar? I ain't calling you for dinner.
For those of you who don't know me, my name is Salman Ahmed, and I'm a senior at John Carroll University in Cleveland, Ohio, and I'll be starting medical school next fall. I'm also a part of the LECOM Early Assurance Program, which guarantees me a seat in their medical school contingent on the basis that I meet all the requirements during my undergraduate years. Now you're probably wondering, Salman, what the heck are you talking about? Medical school and no MCAT? To get straight to the point, I'm talking about BSDO and BSMD programs. These are 7 and 8 year programs that ensure students early acceptance into medical school straight from high school, or in some cases even college. So in this video, I want to go ahead and talk about how I got involved in some of these programs, some pros and cons, as well as where you can find more information regarding this BSDO and BSMD programs. As I stated earlier, I'm currently a part of the LECOM EAP or Early Assurance Program. This is considered a BSDO program. This is a 7-year or an 8-year program, meaning you could do 3 years of undergraduate studies and then 4 years of medical school, or you could do the traditional 4 years of undergraduate studies and then 4 years of medical school. Personally, I chose to do the traditional 4 and the 4, meaning 8 years, because I want to really take time and enjoy my undergraduate years. So in my program, if you meet all the contingent requirements, meaning your GPA requirement, the science GPA requirement, you take all the prerequisite courses, then the MCAT is waived and you're not required to take it. So there are actually 2 main ways in which you can get involved into this program. You can get involved starting from your senior year of high school, which is what I did, and the requirements are that you have above a 26 ACT and have above a 3.5 unweighted GPA, and you could also get involved before your junior year of college. The requirements are, from my understanding, is you have above a 3.4 GPA and above a 3.2 science GPA to qualify for an interview. How I found this program was actually pretty interesting because I had no idea that this program actually existed. I was actually looking at other BSMD and BSDO programs as well as 6-year pharmacy programs because at the time I was kind of on the edge between whether I want to do medicine or if I want to do pharmacy. So when my family told me about this program, I decided to kind of research into it, and the next thing you know, I got accepted for an interview. Make sure to hit that subscribe button because in a few weeks I'll be making a video discussing my first medical interview and for this program specifically, how that interview went, how it was conducted, and how the format was. So as I alluded to earlier in the video, if you want to qualify for the program from college, you need to be a part of one of LECOM's affiliate undergraduate institutions. That's one of the reasons for why I decided to go to John Carroll University, because it was one of LECOM's affiliate institutions. It was also a small school, so I could really get that one-to-one interaction with my professors, and of course it was also close to home. So if you do attend one of these undergraduate institutions that LECOM affiliates with, then you have to have above a 3.4 GPA and above a 3.2 science GPA before you begin your junior year, and that way you'll be able to qualify for an interview. If you want to know more about this program and which specific schools are affiliated with LECOM, then I'll put the link in the description below and you guys can feel free to check that out. Just as a quick disclaimer, the pros and cons that I'm going to mention is not about LECOM's program specifically, but BSMD and BSDO programs across the country and very generally. So in my opinion, the pros really outweigh the cons in this situation, and I'm really going to try to hone into 3 main pros. So by far, stress relief takes spot number 1 for me. I saw a lot of my classmates studying for the MCAT, trying to maintain straight A's, doing research work, doing volunteer work, filling out applications, writing essays for the applications, going on interviews, dropping a lot of money on these interviews, dropping a lot of money on these applications, and there's still no guarantee that you'll actually get accepted. I knew from high school, from seeing friends as well as my own family members going through this process and the stress that they were going through, and it was something early on that I realized I didn't want to deal with. At the end of the day, I have the utmost respect for people who decide to take the traditional route, because I know how hard it is to actually get to that point. I've seen family members, I've seen friends struggle through that process. And that was something, as I stated, is not something that I really want to deal with. So early on, I was looking for options of ways to really alleviate this stress and this weight that would always be on my back of not knowing what's going to happen in the future. So as soon as I found out about these BSDO and BSMD programs, I immediately jumped on it. I realized that when I first started this program, I had the freedom to really do any extracurricular, any activities that I wanted. My program really didn't mandate a specific activity like other programs might, so my options were kind of wide open on the table. So I could get involved in the most outrageous clubs and organizations. For example, we had a paranormal activity club at school where we drive around and visit broken down buildings and haunted places, and we try to contact ghosts. Or I could get involved in ski club, or I can get involved in intramural basketball or Muslim student society. And I was doing all these clubs because I had a general interest in them. And obviously, as you saw from the trend, that these programs had nothing to do with medicine. So as opposed to spending long hours doing pre-med duties such as long volunteer work or research and shadowing doctors, I was really focusing on things that interest me greatly. Not that I didn't do those things like shadow doctors and volunteer work. I obviously got involved in research later on, but those things weren't on the top of my list because they didn't need to be. For example, I got involved in research because that's something that always generally interested me. I did a high school research internship, and ever since then I knew that that's something that I want to get involved in when I get older. I did research work because I wanted to, not because medical schools like to see that on your application. And although it's a very minute mindset change, it gives you a whole different perspective when you're actually getting involved in this activity, because you're looking at it in a whole different light. So aside from extracurriculars, I had the freedom to choose any major that I wanted. Most of these BSDO and BSMD programs don't really require you to major in anything specifically related to science. So I had the choice to major in Chinese, classics, business, pretty much whatever I wanted to do, as long as I fulfilled the requirements that I needed to get into medical school. I ended up choosing biology because, as I said, research is something that always interested me, and I knew that I wanted to take these higher level biology classes to really understand the research that I'm working on. So pro number 3 is no MCAT. And now that I think about it, I think this would take number 1. Not having to take the MCAT, or for most BSMD programs, not having to score a very high score, was the game changer for me. Most of these programs actually require that you score above at least the 50th percentile, or what's equivalent to a 500 on the MCAT. Let me tell you, not having to worry about that was such a weight that was lifted off my shoulders. Not only that, but you're also saving so much money, because a lot of these programs that prep you for the MCAT cost a lot of money, which nears around $1,000, $2,000, or $3,000 or even higher. And overall, as I stated earlier, after doing all these things, there's still no guarantee that you're actually going to get accepted into a medical school. And that uncertainty will always be looming over your head, that maybe I'm not good enough, maybe my MCAT score isn't high enough, maybe my GPA isn't good enough, maybe I wasn't involved in as many extracurriculars as I should have. The main con with these BSDO and BSMD programs, I would say, is the fact that you're kind of binded to these programs. When your senior year rolls around of college, you can be applying out to other medical schools and still expect your seat to be saved with the BSMD or BSDO program that you're in. Which makes sense, because why would a school be guaranteeing you a seat, specifically only you a seat for medical school, if you're going to be going out and applying to other schools? So why I would consider this to be a con is because some people may want to apply out to other schools and may want to attend a school that's closer to home, or a school that has more of a prestige, or whatever the reason. But if it's a binding program, then you may not be allowed to apply out to other schools unless you're okay with losing your seat that you currently have. If you're a current high schooler or even a college student, I highly recommend that you check out some of these BSMD and BSDO programs. I'll be posting the links for some of these programs down in the description below, and if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. Alright guys, I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in to this week's video. Many new exciting videos to come. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss them, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.